Hello, today we're going to go through lesson 3.5. So I will get my graph paper and write lesson 3.5. I don't know whether you're going to be able to see that. Do not use pen unless it's absolutely necessary. Wednesday, April the 22nd. Okay, so we're going to do questions 1 and 3. Both of them require graph paper. Okay, so let's find the page 143, numbers 1 and 3. Okay, let's start with 1a. So G is given. For each equation, identify the slope and the y-intercept, then graph the line. So they give us an equation. So they gave us an equation, y equals 3x minus 4. They ask us to identify, so that's the verb for unknown. So the unknown is the slope equals the question mark. Now we know that slope is the same as m, okay, and the y-intercept equals the question mark, but it's the same. We know that the y-intercept is the same as the b value, okay? We want to then graph the line, okay? So we want to find the slope, the y-intercept, and then graph the line. Okay, so GUE equation. Well, we can use the equation to graph the line. So the equation is y equals mx plus b. That's going to help us find the slope and the y-intercept because it uses the m for slope and it uses the b for the y-intercept. So that's really the equation we need. So GUE, E is equation. Okay, GUES. S is the solution. Okay, so we have to look at what we've been given and the unknown. So we take these things here. S for the solution. So what are they asking for? They're asking for the slope, which is m, we said, and the y-intercept, which is b. But we have to use what we're given. So use y equals 3x minus 4, and let's use this as well. Okay, let's use the equation and use y equals mx plus b. Okay, so we look at the unknown and we're supposed to find the slope, which we know is m. So we match these up in class before. Equals are matching just like the y's. The 3 is in front of the x. There's the x's. The b is after. Okay, so we see that m is equal to 3. So m is equal to 3. Therefore, that's the slope is equal to 3. Okay, get that right from there. They're in the same loop. And in the same loop is the b value. So b is equal to 4. And we know that b is the y-intercept. So it's equal to 4. Now the solution says we find the slope, the y-intercept, but we have to graph the line. So let's go over to this side of our page. The graph paper that I will attach to this day's lesson is for you to print out if you don't have any. Okay, so the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from 0, and then going down, and from 0 going to the right, and going to the left from 0, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. Okay, so if I have to graph this, okay, if I have to graph, start with the y-intercept. Okay, so we're going to use these values here. So I'm going to start with the b value of 4, which is the y-intercept of 4. Okay, 4 is the y value that crosses the y-axis. So on the y-axis, the value of 4 is sitting on that y-axis. Okay? Now when we do the graph, we're going to start with the b value. Then we're going to use the slope as the second thing. So secondly, I'm going to use the slope. So m is equal to 3, and we know that's the slope, okay, is 3. Now, what we said before, see if I have a red pen. Nothing but a pencil. Okay. So we said that that number on the bottom is a 1, okay? So we know that slope is rise over run. So if we say that the rise is 3 and the run is 1, okay, we go back to this point and we go rise 3. 1, 2, 3, then do a and then 1 over 1. I'll do that again. 1, 2, 3, and then over 1, and then keep going. 1, 2, 3, and then over 1. 3 points are enough. Okay, so that's y equals, and then whatever we said that was, 3x minus 4. Okay, so then I go over here. I'm done with my guess because now I have my sentence. I refer back to what was unknown. So therefore the slope is 3 and the y-intercept is 4. Okay, and C graph as well, because that's part of the question. Okay, so you pause the video and you try doing the rest of number 1. Okay, when you come back, we're going to do number 3. So number 3 says graph each line. So 3a. Graph each line. So what are we given? Well, we are just given the equation y equals 1/2 x plus 2. That's all we're given. U is the unknown. It says to graph each line. So the unknown is to graph. That's our verb. Graph the line. Okay, what line is it? It's y equals 1/2 x plus 2. Okay, that's our action, graphing. E, the equation. If we want to graph that line, we've got to use y equals mx plus b. The s is the solution, okay? So we're going to use the equation. Okay, so we're going to use y equals mx plus b. We're going to use the unknown, which is the equation of the line that we're supposed to graph. So y equals 1/2 x plus 2, and that's the same thing. I'm going to take what I was given, so I've already done that. Okay, so when I'm supposed to be graphing, I need to know what the m is, but I loop the y's that are the same, the equal signs are the same, the m in front of the x is the m value of 1/2. There, after the x is the plus b, which is plus 2. So I can see that m is equal to 1/2. I can see that b is equal to 2. But I know that m is the same as slope of 1/2, and I know that b is the y-intercept of 2. Okay, so I go over here. Again, make sure you're graphing on graph paper. Okay, All right, so we're going to start, so the graph, we're going to start with this value here, okay? So we're going to start with the y-intercept, y-intercept of 2, okay? So if the y-intercept of 2, okay, is the y value on the y-axis, okay? Oh, we forgot our scale, so let's start. So 0, going over to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, going to the left from 0, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, starting at 0, going up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, starting at 0, going down, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. Labeling all these lines will help you save time. So the y-intercept of 2 is where we start, okay? It's the y value on the y-axis. So there, I'm going to put a very solid point. The second thing I do is take this value here of the slope, okay? So the slope is 1 over 2. Well, we know that the slope formula is rise over run. So we know that the rise is 1. This 2 is there in the bottom, so we're going to use it. Okay, use what you were given. So the rise of 1 from the y-intercept is up 1, and then you run 2. 1, 2. So up 1, run 2. Okay, then put a dot there. Then rise again 1, rise again 1, and then run 2. 1, 2. So rise 1, run 2. Rise 1, run 2. There's 3 points there. Connect them with my ruler. Make sure your line is long enough to be visible. And then the equation, y equals 1/2 x plus 2. That's the equation of my line that I drew. So now you're going to stop and do the rest of number 3. Make sure that you go back to number 3A if you're having trouble with number 3. Good luck.